just how excited I am and our listeners are that you are heading back to Australia. How are you feeling about being able to head back to Oz?
Oh, I am. I'm so excited about this opportunity. You know what? This has been delayed. I think 3 times for COVID. Originally supposed to come back in 20 at the end. I think summer of 20 or winter of 2020, and then of course delayed, pushed back. Um, I, it's been one of the great joys of the band's existence to get a chance to come down and play and for the amazing crowds in Australia. So I'm so stoked and really looking forward to getting a chance to come back down there.
I can't believe that it's been so long. I was there at Big Day Out in 2007, and you put on such an amazing show. I can't believe that it's been so long. Does it feel that long for you?
It's when you say the date, yeah, that does feel like it's been a long time. I mean, I don't think there are. I mean, there really isn't any other place like Australia, as far as like, it's like somebody, it's like a sort of like a Marvel version of a city that you're familiar with, but everything is prettier and bolder and people speak the same language, but it has that, you have the different accent and a different style, and everything is very, you're all right. Everything's lifts at the end. It feels like we're traveling to a distant, and it is a distant part of the world. But when you get down there, the feeling of appreciation and excitement that tends to be infused into the crowds of Australia and New Zealand. It's something that's truly remarkable and something that we've tried not to ever take for granted. So, yeah, it's been way too long, but really, really, really excited to get a chance to come back down there.
Artists that came out for Big Day Out, they used to get a few breaks in between the festivals and get to spend a little bit of time in our country. Do you remember what you did when you were in between shows and how you spent that time looking around Australia?
Yeah, one of the fondest memories I have is my wife and I going to doing a small Captain Cook cruise, really small ship, a really small vessel I got to the Great Barrier Reef and the Lizard Island and some of the other little spots, like a 3 or 4 day. But I think it was really low turnout as far as passengers. I think there were more crew than passengers, but it was truly a remarkable, like, beautiful adventure for us to be able to see, the great, experience the different islands and the be on that small little vessel with sort of the other passengers I remember sitting at a table with a passenger from Dubai, a couple from Dubai, a couple from England, a couple from Switzerland, just this group of international passengers all there to enjoy the sights and to take it all in, and of course we've done some wine tours down in Coonawarra, which is, I think, one of the fucking coolest words in any language.
Yeah.
And of course we've been close to some of the wildlife. We've gone some little adventures and koalas and all that stuff, and Byron Bay and going snorkeling and Byron Bay and having barbecues with friends and just taking every opportunity we had to do sightseeing, to experience the surroundings, and to really take it all in.
You've got a little bit of a break between some of the shows this time around as well. Is there anything that you're hoping to go and do this time while you're here?
Yeah, well, I'm just about to get in those conversations with everyone who's going to be taking care of me down there, and yeah, I'm always looking for some suggestions for sure. And I will give you my. Where are you at?
I'm in Melbourne, so I actually live in a little bit of a country area, about an hour out of Melbourne. But yeah, Melbourne's the major city near me.
Gotcha. I'll give you my email address, and if you have any, anything that I shouldn't miss, I've got a couple friends in Melbourne. I think I'm going to be there after Adelaide. I think.
Yep.
So I think that there's a day off. Hopefully, there's a day off in between, and I know I have a few days off, longer days off. I've got to, again, talk with the promoters and figure out where they're going to put me. But yeah, I love any suggestions and would love to experience as much as I can when I'm down there.
Definitely. Now, Scott, bringing it back to the music, it's no secret to the listeners of this show that Trip Like I Do is one of my favorite tracks of all time, and it being on the Spawn soundtrack as well just elevates it even up higher. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how that came about, that track ended up on the Spawn soundtrack, because that is one of the best soundtracks of all time.
It is something very unique. Happy Walters, I think, was the driving force behind that. A very inventive and creative music supervisor that kind of came up with the concept. And we'd heard about the project. We initially were going to write a new song with Filter, but we were finishing up our album at the time, and so we kept sort of like pushing back the collaborative dates that we were going to get together, and our manager, we shared the same manager with Filter at the time. He suggested that he played them Trip Like I Do from our album, which was the opening track, and we got a call within a day or so from Richard Patrick saying, "I love this track. I've got all these ideas," and he started to sing us like the main hook over the phone, and I was just like, "Wow!" Both of us, Ken and I, were immediately just big smiles. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Not only did it help us continue to complete our project, but we just knew that it was going to be something special. So yeah, we went to Chicago where they were out at the time, and we went into the studio with them, and they cut all the parts, and a really talented producer and mixer by the name of Ben Gross put it all together and mixed it, and the rest is history. The video for it is super fun, directed by Floria Sigismondi, a very talented, inventive, artist, visual artist. We did dress up. We dressed up in cop uniforms and in drag, and super just fond memories of all of it. Then of course we had Richard Patrick come up and sing it with us when we did it live a few years back at a live venue here in Los Angeles, and of course Filter. It's a big song in their touring set list, and has been for a long time. So it's a track that I think it continues to live on, and those who appreciate it, it still kind of conjures up those feelings of that particular time of our lives, and it's one that still goes over well when I get a chance to play it out. I mean, it's something I would love to do live with Richard Patrick, again in the future. But I've done a version. I have a couple different versions that I play in my set that kind of bring out the essence of the track and still bring out the vibes, even though it's not the same track or same version.
Definitely. You've always been very visionary with the way that you work with artists of different genres, and we even saw that on your last album with post-punk, working with Iggy Pop. Is that something that you've always enjoyed with your career, being able to go out and collaborate with other artists that are outside of the electronica music world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that track I did with good friend of mine, Hyper, who we started that track, and then he we had the idea to use this vocal from Iggy, and yeah, absolutely, because it's always inspiring to get that different flavor. It's like a chef, like bringing in different ingredients for meals. I mean, we tend to kind of stick, especially when Ken and I were together with within our collaborative space between he and I. So even going back to Tom Morello, working with us on the second album, or Scott Weiland working with us on the second album, and all the different albums coming after that, the different artists that we've loved to bring in are people that aren't necessarily in the electronic space, because again, it brings a different element that I think really adds a lot to our sound.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned before that you like to still put Trip Like I Do into your set list. You must have a real dilemma when you're doing a show these days about what tracks you play, because you have so many classic tracks and such a massive back catalogue. How do you go about picking a set list, especially for a country like Australia where you haven't been here for a little while?
Yeah, that's something that I'm working on. I'm going to continue to work on how to put together a set that does bring a lot of those classic tracks, and again, being around for as long as we've been around, and the amount of content that we've got out there, but also trying to create a set that takes that journey and takes everybody on a journey, where I'm creating a flow that is great for that night and that moment. So yeah, it's something that I'm been working on, and will continue to work on until I get down there, for sure.
Definitely. We talked before about you playing a Big Day Out, which is one of the iconic music festivals here in Australia, and you've played at some of the biggest festivals in the world. Has there ever been a festival show for you that really stands out as one of the best shows that you've ever done?
I have many fond memories of the Big Day Outs over the years. I mean, that experience was like none other than we've ever. No, there was no other traveling, festival like that anywhere else in the world, where everybody, all the bands travel together. A lot of the bands stayed in the same hotels. You had a chance to, there was the after parties after everyone, where the bands would go and hang out, and I became good friends with Justin from Tool, when we hung out every night on that tour after we met, just getting to go around and see the bands and experience that. I mean, watching New Order every night, on that Big Day Out that we did back in 2000, I think it was 2002, with Prodigy, and it's just like a dream, So all those festivals all the Big Day Outs that we've done, I can't remember. I mean, I remember certain things about each city, but just as a whole, that was just, I think, the best experience. There have been other ones. I remember, playing, a festival in Scotland by Loch Ness, the lake out there, right on the side of the hill, beautiful summer day. And there've been plenty of them overseas in Europe, but the ones that immediately bring a smile on my face are definitely the Big Day Outs.
Awesome. Well, mate, we are running out of time very, very quickly, and I hope that these tour dates for you in Australia this time bring a smile to your face. So I guess to finish off, what would you like to say to all of your fans out there before they go out and grab tickets for these amazing shows in December?
Well, I've been talking to some other people over the last few hours, different interviewers. What I understand is that it's a genuine enthusiasm for going back out. You know, the clubs are open, the pubs are open. You know, it's the weather's getting nice and warm. I'm going to bring every bit of energy and excitement I have, enthusiasm that lives inside me to get back down there to play for everybody. And I look forward to not just playing, performing, but getting a chance to just hang out and experience the beauty of Australia and the wonderful people that live there.